And speaking of finances, with the new year come new resolutions, and for many of us, those will include better ways to budget the green stuff, paying down debt, or otherwise overhauling your financial life. If this is you, you'll want to listen up. We have Michael Lemus, who's with AXA Advisors, here this morning to give you some great advice. Thank you so much for being here with us, Michael.
Thank you for having me this morning.
So the first things first, let's talk about saving, because that's something that a lot of people don't tend to do, or if they do, they specifically put it into a savings account. What's the difference between a savings account and something like a 401k or IRA?
It's a great question that you bring up. Savings account is something that you'll do at your local credit union or bank, and that's something where you want to have only a specific amount, not too much, because they really don't generate a lot of interest. So you typically want to have about 6 months of your your fixed expenses in that savings account. But something like 401k or IRA, that's for long-term savings, and it's traditionally established for retirement purposes. And so the difference between the two is really the tax implications. By taking advantage of retirement programs, the IRS typically gives you a tax deduction, so it helps lower your taxable income, which in turn helps you pay less income tax every year.
That sounds great. What percentage of your salary should you be putting into these specific accounts?
So again, another great question. Typically what we recommend is try to maximize the account. There's certain limitations every year that the IRS sets forth. For example, this year in 2013, it's $17,500 is a maximum you can put into your 401k or 403b program. If you're over 50, you have what's called a catch-up, and you can put additional monies. So at the end of the day, we all strive to maximize the contributions, but a good starting point is 10% of your pay. The reason why we say 10% of your pay, after 10 years you have 1 full year of your salary saved up, but with the compounding interest in the investment, that can really flourish the account and really put a good amount of money into your retirement savings.
The one thing that we all want to do is save, but that all starts with a budget. How can people better budget their money?
Another great question. I think the main thing is, one, you got to write it down. So for your 2014, write down your goals, write down your budget, and then tell somebody. So you want to have an accountability partner, whether it's your spouse, significant other, or friend. That way they can hold you accountable to what you said you were going to do. But at the end of the day, it's all about looking at what your expenses are, your fixed versus your variable, and nailing down that number and sticking to it. So there's a tendency for individuals to overspend, but it's all about being very very smart with your money, not just overdoing it. So just know your expenses.
A lot of people don't know this, but we probably all have debt. Everybody has some kind of debt. If you own a car, you own a house, you have credit cards, any little thing like that is considered a debt. So what should people be paying off first, and how can they factor that into their budget and how they put that towards savings? Yeah,
so what you really want to do is, for one, never do the minimum payment. That's what the credit card agencies really want, minimum payments. What you really want to focus on is whatever is the high interest bearing accounts. So whatever is in the double-digit percentages, you want to try and nail those down fast. And then maintain the smaller interest-bearing accounts first. And once you minimize the debt of, say, 1 credit card, well, the payment that you were sending there, that's what you can shift over into your 401k program at work or your IRA program. And that way you can help build your retirement assets, but at the same time you keep nailing down those high interest bearing accounts.
Great. Michael, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, they can reach me at my website at www.michaellemus.com. And we have various information, newsletters, calculators, retirement calculators, life insurance calculators. So there's an abundance of information there at michaellemus.com.
That's another great thing to talk about, life insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go on and on and on for days on this, but we're limited on time. So thanks so much, Michael, for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.